It's about that time of day again here, boys and girls. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. Today is Monday, August 18th, 2014. My name is Joseph James. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending your valuable time with us this evening. In today's newsletter, we've got 3 goals every afternoon. First, we'll take a look at what happened today. Second, we'll take a look at the schedule for tomorrow. And the third most important thing, we're going to give you guys strategies for whatever this market wants to do, up, down, or sideways. You, my friends, are going to be prepared. Before we get started today with our nightly newsletter, I do want to remind you, though, to get on over here to sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching this video, on anything else besides our blog here at Sideways Markets, for example, if you're watching it on our newsletter right now, there's a link right below the video, so make sure you follow that link and head on over here to sidewaysmarkets.com for 3 different reasons. Reason number 1, you can download today's charts. Right below the video here this evening, you're going to see a link there to download all the charts that we use every day in our live trade room and all the charts you see on the newsletter video tonight. As a bonus, I've also added in about a half dozen more anchor charts and other looks at these markets, right? So if you don't see what you need here in the video, make sure you download today's charts and you'll see all the bonus charts there as well. Second thing here, upper left-hand corner. You might be wondering how we make profit with these every day in our trade room. I have a special free pass to give you guys. Come out and join me in the trade room as a guest, and you can see exactly how we do it. Third thing here. Luckily, I'm not an English teacher or a math teacher, huh? Look at I'm a trader here. Third thing, lower left-hand corner, right above my ugly mug. If you want me to send you an email every time I send out my nightly newsletter, just give me your name and your email address, and I'll add you to that nightly newsletter mailing list. All right, 3 things here, guys, over at sidewaysmarkets.com. Get on over there to download a copy of today's charts. Grab a copy of your free pass to our live trade room and register for our nightly newsletter. Let's get started. Got my helmet on, all stretched out today. What happened today? Boy, it was a pretty darn good Monday, although today was one of those Mondays that we knew was a potential disaster before it even happened. First of all, it was a summertime Monday, right? We knew that traders would be a little bit sluggish getting back to their desks after a summer weekend. We also knew today was what we call rebalancing Monday, which is the Monday after OPEX, right? Last Friday was OPEX. So we knew there would be some pretty good volatility that comes in because remember, traders who had to get out of positions last Friday, they're going to get back into new positions this Monday. So these were kind of balanced to the route here. A little bit of this, though, a lot of this, though, was that self-fulfilling prophecy. Traders knowing it was a summer Monday, traders knowing last Friday was OPEX, right? Kind of give them a little bit of a reason to stay in bed a little bit later this morning. So we were expecting to see things, a little bit of a sluggish start this morning, and that's exactly what happened. Also, moving forward here, this is the 4th week of the month of August. Now, we had the first day of the month was a Friday, so we didn't get anything out of the first week. Usually the 4th week of the month is the end of the month. Not quite there yet, right? And all the kids go wild. But we do know the 4th week of the month of August is notorious for piling all the kids in the minivan or the station wagon, right, or whatever you guys drive these days, right, the Hummers or whatever, and taking them on vacation, right? So kind of the last chance for summer vacation for a lot of kids out there. And remember, we always say in our trade room, when the kids are out of school, we are out of the markets, right? Now, of course, we also say when the banks are closed, right, we're out of the market. So banks are open right now, but kids are still out of school, so that's what's leading to those lower volume environments. So 4th week of the month of August, Monday, a summertime Monday. I can hear Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff? Boy, I'm dating myself here. I can hear him singing that classic summertime song, right, in the back of my head already. What else do we have happen today? We got a lot of stuff coming out this week. This week is the notorious Jackson Hole Economic Symposium. Let's see if I can write all that out here. That is going to be Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. And of course, we've got our gal, right? Our gal, Janet Yellen. She'll be talking on Friday morning. This is a pretty big deal. If I can type today, boy. Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time will be Janet Yellen. Thursday night into Friday morning, we're hearing from people from all over the world. Mainly, you're going to have Carney from UK. You'll hear from Draghi from the ECB. We'll hear from Yellen on Friday morning. So Thursday and Friday are going to be the busy days this week, ahead of that Jackson Hole economic symposium. Now, geopolitical fears this week, right? Geopolitical fears. Like I said, it's a Monday. Boy, I like my English teacher. These have kind of calmed down a little bit. We've had a back and forth, right? We got a ceasefire here. I just read the news report. Ceasefire has been extended another few days in Gaza, right? That's always good to see. And of course, the soap opera continues, right? The soap opera continues between Ukraine, right, and Russia. I'll tell you, the rest of the world is just laughing at this right now. Tough to understand what it all means. We won't worry too much about what it all means, but that's what's going on here today. So today we've got some news about Monday, right, those summer Mondays, the Monday after OPEX. Oh, one last thing here, right, we got the economic symposium later on this week. Don't forget, too, guys, that crude oil rolled over here this week, right? It was right this morning. It was kind of an odd rollover. It went from the 9 to the 10 contract midday, which we don't see very often. So the 0914 contract now is going to be the 1014 contract, right? So make sure you are aware. All the stuff you see from me today is going to be regarding that 1014 contract on crude. Alrighty, for more information about all this stuff, you can follow the links below today's video. Let's jump right in here. Starting off first here with the mighty mini Russell. Now, I have no idea what's happening right now because apparently all the E-mini traders, all the equity traders have completely forgotten about this little issue with horrible news in Asia, horrible news in Europe, and then actually just today we saw relatively dismal news out of the U.S. What in the bejesus are going on right now here, right? This doesn't make much sense. It doesn't really need to make much sense, let's be honest, right? Does it really matter if it makes a lot of sense? Not really, right? All I care about is my 3 steps to success, right? You know what it is. Find the trend, find the setup, find the entry pattern. Right now, though, we can definitely see these bulls were in full steam ahead today. Again, not too sure what the rationale is with it right now. Again, all the news around the world right now, relatively bearish. It most likely, though, has to do with what I've been saying since the end of 2013, and that is the U.S. equities, when the times get tough out there, these are becoming a great market for speculators and even long-term investors that don't feel confident buying into all the chaos that goes into the Chinese equities, right, or Asian equities, or, of course, the struggling equities in Europe right now. That's the only thing I can default, right, to kind of say what's going on right now is we might be the only game in town. Daily chart on the Russell, pushing higher. I've got resistance here at 57.1, 69.7, and you can see quite a bit of a jump up there to the next one at 87.7. One thing I want you to see, though, is that if you go off the highs and the lows, we are smack right in the middle of this. Being in the middle of these long-term ranges, definitely not a very good thing, right? It's going to be a little more challenging here. We go forward now to my 32 anchor chart. Now, this is where you're going to benefit from downloading all of the bonus charts, right? As I zoom out here, you can see I've given you guys a lot more view, a lot more of more altitude here if you look at it on the bonus chart. So definitely grab a copy of the bonus chart so you can see how I got to this whole area here, right? That'll give you some ideas there. As you can see, we've got a bullish trend. I'm going to use 3 simple steps to success. First one, what's my trend? Bullish. Where's my setup? Exactly. We get a weight. 39.1. I'm sorry, 42.5, 39.1, 34.1, 31.2. I've got my 30.1 and my 23.7. And if we happen to get all the way down here, right, 14.7 and 11.09.3. My trend is up. Where are my setups? To buy, you got it, 39.1. Again, 42.5 and 39.1. That's the next available buy zone for me right now. Trend is up. Setup at the 42.5, at the 34.1. And where's my entry trigger? You're going to have to come out and see me tomorrow morning in real time. Come join me in the trade room, and I'll show you exactly how we enter these trades. Had a very good day today doing exactly this. Now, what if price keeps going higher? If price keeps going higher, we're going to continue with this same idea, right? Price goes higher. I'm not going to buy it at the highs. I'm going to wait for price, right, to pull back, and then I'll buy it. Remember, this is where I'm really going to come in handy tomorrow morning for all those new traders out there that need help. Because right now, if these prices go higher, all of these levels here will also be moved up with them, right? So we're going to, of course, adjust this tomorrow if we do move higher. One word out there for all you scalpers that want to go short. Once I get below 52.5, I actually can now start selling short down to that 42.5. So look out below. 52.5 down to this 42.5 area. That's going to be a nice little short-term counter trend move. We may see that here overnight. So if you're based out of Asia or you're in London, you might get a nice move here off those highs. Again, counter trend. So what do we do counter trend? We tighten up those stops, locking in profit. We're quick on the gun, taking those profit targets, right? As I say in the trade room, when we go against the trend, we trade smaller size, we're more conservative with the entry pattern, and we're aggressive at taking profit. As we keep going higher here, I have additional targets up here at 69.6, 75.4, and 87.7. Again, right now, though, you got to be a little bit cuckoo to be buying these highs right now, right? We're going right into that 56.9. So on our best behavior here on the Russell. Now, I gave you guys a short-term sell. So again, get below this previous high here, and you can look for that short down to that 42.5. But what if you don't, what if you're not interested in the sell right now? Here are your chances here now. I've got, again, what's my trend? Trend is up. Where's my setup? My setup, I'm glad you asked. Setup here, 51.7, 48.6. And then you guys already know about these two levels below, right? Those were there off the 32. You'll also see here we've got a channel being drawn in here. Again, check out the bonus charts, and you can see more examples of how I found that channel. At the very least, we have to be patient for price to pull back. You can see we are already nestled right up into this buyer's target at 54.9. My plan right now, if we do keep going higher, come out and see me tomorrow morning in real time. I'll give you those options for buying pullbacks. If we collapse here right now, these two areas are going to be the lower percentage buy zones. All right? Again, these two first areas, 51.7 and 48.6, those are going to be the short-term buy zones. I'm looking here down at 42.5 and 34.1. That's where I'd like to get, right? That's where I'd like to get in to buy. But I'll take any of these four buy zones right now. Setup, 51.7. Where's my entry trigger? I'm going to wait for it to keep going. We can pretty much get rid of this buy target right now because it's been broken. And so, of course, we'll look for price to go lower. Once it starts rising, I've got targets up here at 62.1. And then heads up here, it looks like we might be able to tie in this 1170 area up with the top of that channel. Okay, just kind of speculation right now, but don't forget, there's a channel high up there. You want to keep that in mind for your final target here on the Russell. Let's keep moving. Now that you know more about the Russell, let's move into that funny yellow metal we call gold futures, right? I like gold. And of course, we know that gold here has had a very difficult time right in the middle of its range, Right now, the daily chart sitting right in the middle of this range. Now, think about the fundamentals right now that are happening out there right now. We've got very poor news reports coming out of Europe, and we just saw a first little glance at some poor news out of the U.S. this morning, right? So the U.S. might be playing catch up to the rest of the world. We'll wait and see what happens the rest of the week. But the big thing, though, is all these geopolitical fears, right? Well, supposedly not. Remember, if gold was pushing higher, then we would buy into this idea that there was fear out there in these markets. What are we seeing right now, though? Nothing. So we use gold as the finger on the pulse of the fear factor in this world of ours. And right now, it does not look like the smart money out there, right, the ones that make these markets move, it doesn't look they're worried. And they shouldn't be worried. All the stuff that's happening right now, as you've heard me say over and over again, like a broken record, all of the stuff that's happening right now is completely fabricated by the news media, right? I've been saying it for months now. Gold had no reason at all to be going higher. Now it's finally got itself pushing lower. My 32 anchor chart. Now here's where we put all of our hard work to the test. First of all, what's my trend? Trend equals down, right? Trend is down. How do I know my trend is down? Lower lows, lower highs. Most importantly, though, I've got red clouds. I'm below all the key moving averages. Now, there is one thing here that I could see that concerns me a little bit. You'll notice that we didn't make a lower low today. So we're seeing what might be that trend line holding on for dear life right now. We're definitely not bullish, and we definitely haven't begun to consolidate yet. So all I can default to is we are definitely bearish. But, again, like I said earlier, because that low, unlike the Russell, right? The Russell pushed a new high today. Gold did not, right? So with that higher low and that lower high, yep, wah, wah, wah. This may end up going sideways here. Remember, we got that Jackson Hole Symposium down the road this week, and we're going to be hearing from a lot of major political figures, a lot of central bankers, a lot of very important people going to be reacting to this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That could be why gold begins to go sideways. Again, speculation at this point right now, trend is down. Where is my setup? Now you'll notice trend is down. Where's my setup? Setup here, 13.087, 13.12.3, 13.17.6, 13.20.7. That's all I have to work with right now, guys. That's all I have to work with. This is a tough one. Until we make a new lower low, then I can look to sell here again. So right now, I am looking for shorts here on the entry charts right now. I'm looking for shorts, and I've got targets down below me. 93 even, 90.3, 85.9, 82.7, 12.75 even. And you can see here we slipped in a final one down here around 12.70 at the low of that channel, right? Again, here's where you'll benefit from those bonus charts, right? You can see we got this big channel going lower here today. So right now, here's the deal, guys. I've got a green light to sell short right now, but watch closely over the next few hours, and let's see whether this market goes sideways or not. If it gets through this trend line, I'm not so worried about this thing anymore here. But again, you can see how we've got a little bit of concern here ahead of the Jackson Hole Symposium. And of course, again, being in the middle of that range, we know this could get a little bit frothy right in the middle here. So bottom line, though, I've got the green light here to be selling short here on gold. I would love to sell short, though, at any of these sell zones overhead and then take my targets off as we go lower. Now, let's get a closer view at this. Here's the 16 anchor. On the 16 anchor chart, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about here. In fact, if you're a member of mine, we know this 96.9 to 95.1, we call that our last chance, right? It's our last chance zone right there. That's a pretty big deal as we bounced off it. We still haven't made any higher highs. We're still making lower lows. So I still don't have any reason to say definitively we're bearish right now. But as you can see, though, lower highs in price. I've got my bear channel drawn in. We're going to use these areas 96.9, 90.3, 85.9, 82.6, 74.9. Those are our targets on the way lower. And then just like we saw in the 32, I've got areas here of resistance where I want to be selling. 1307.4 looks like a very enticing area here on the gold. As you can see though, bearish trend. How do I know we get a bearish trend? Lower lows, lower highs, red clouds, below the key cloud moving averages. We know we're bearish. Where's my setup? Well, believe it or not, we already got our lower low. We went into our setup earlier this week, late last week, and the early birds caught the worm on the gold shorts earlier this morning, right? We had some great luck selling short on gold today in our trade room. Very, very good day today on gold going lower. Same thing on crude. Now you know the plan here on gold. Again, if you want to see real-time trades, come join me tomorrow morning, and we'll show them off to you in real time. Here we go here now from the white or the funny yellow metal here now to the black gold, right? The Texas T, the crude oil futures. Now don't forget, if you're wondering why my price is a little bit lower than yours, double check your contracts here. You should be trading the 1014 contract here on gold. I can't believe we're seeing the October. This is October. It was just March. Incredible. Time flies when you're printing $100 bills. And we really did last week, didn't we? Boy, that was fun last week. And before that. And before that, too. We've had about 3 weeks in a row here where not only this newsletter, but our trade room has been piling up the profit trading short on crude. It's a little easy on crude right now, I got to admit. Clearly, the bias is to the downside. We were kind of rough and tumble here around the top of this zone you can see at 95.19. But I'll tell you though, we've been talking about this little love triangle that crude oil has right now. Basically what's happening is you've got the euro pushing lower because of all the piss poor news we're seeing out of Europe. I mean, it's a really big problem they're having right now. There's a really big concern. Italy went back into a technical recession. Draghi sounds like he's being tortured in all of his speeches right now. He's making excuses. It's really difficult, guys. I mean, imagine getting 20 people to a dinner party and all having 20 people have the same dinner menu. Not going to happen. Well, now 20 different countries that make up the EU, they're all trying to get this stuff working together, trying to get monetary policy together, right? You got the Germans telling the Greeks, right, to get off the beach and get to work, right? The Greeks are saying, Germans, come on, man, let up a little bit, man. Let us have some fun, right? So Germany's telling everybody to get back to work, right? You got the Greeks, it's just... Of course, they're all correct, right? I mean, they all have a very good reason behind what they do. But again, there's no wrong way to do this, but it's just difficult to put them all together, right? So that's what's happening right now. So you've got, of course, the euro getting clobbered right now. That, of course, by default, is pushing the USD higher. And the reason why I say by default is because the USD is actually a dollar index, the basket of currencies, which means that by default, if the euro goes lower, 60% of the dollar index is euro. So it has no choice but to go higher, that dollar. And what happens when the dollar goes higher? When the dollar goes higher, everything else goes lower. Crude oil goes lower, gold goes lower, right? It's how it all goes. This is why a little bit of the problem the dollar has right now, or a little concern here is we don't want a strong dollar here in the United States, because a strong dollar pushes all of these commodity prices lower, and that makes our economy struggle, right? A big thing is that a strong dollar makes it difficult for other countries to buy our products. We have a difficult time exporting because someone in Europe will take their cheap euro, try to buy the expensive commodities from the U.S., and it's going to be more expensive, right? It makes me laugh about the whole import ban, right, in Russia. They completely botched that whole ban. If you want to really hurt us, Russia, you got to ban your exports. Didn't you go to school? Maybe not, I guess. Anyways, this is what's happening here right now on crude. This is why crude is going lower, among other commodities as well, because that dollar is pushing higher. On top of that, you've got all the fundamentals now lined up with the de-escalation of violence in the Middle East. We're not, and again, I was joking around this weekend with some of the traders. I had dinner on Saturday night with a couple of friends of mine who were very successful long-term traders. And I said, the most dangerous thing we've ever heard, or that we heard over and over this year, was, I quote, "This time it's different." How many times did we hear that in 2014, right? Oh, Russia invaded Ukraine. This time it's different. World War VII. No, it's not. Bad news in Europe. This time it's different. Probably not, right? It's all the same. It's just got a different color to it, right? So this time ain't different. And now we've got the economics, right? All the news has been poor. The fear factor is dropping. This is what's pushing crude lower, right? The speculators, the buyers right now, have very little to sink their teeth into right now for buying crude. As you can see on the daily chart here, we've got 92.98, 92.15, and then whoops-a-daisy. Is that 90? You got to love selling crude, don't you? Selling crude oil is one of the only markets that gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling, doesn't it? Because we all benefit from lower crude prices. It's kind of an interesting thing to do, right? Very interesting. Now, here's my 32. 32 anchor. Keep it simple, guys. What's my trend? Down. Where's my setup? See, now that's the problem right now. The problem is we're going lower. I've got two easy setups here on crude. I've got 97.37 to 98.33, 99.71 to 130, right, to 100.53. Those are my two easy setups right now on the 32. I've got targets waiting for me down bottom. 92.96, 92.15, 90.66. There's that 90.66. Trend is down, but I have no sell setups right now on the black gold. No sell setups on my 32. If you're a long-term trader, wait to sell short at these important setup areas. I get a channel overhead. Wait to sell short at the top of that channel. I gave this to you earlier on last week. If you missed it last week, now we got to drill down a little bit faster time frame here and find out where we're going to be entering short. Because we don't have to wait for price to go all the way up to look for selling opportunities here. This is the big picture, though, as you can see. As you can see, you get a channel coming down. Look at how well that channel lines up with that high, right? And you can just see how well the channel lines up. This market's really moving well right now for us, and we're going to continue, as I always say, right? We're going to ride the horse that got us here right now and continue to look for selling opportunities here on crude, no matter what the news media wants you to believe. Last chart here of the session. My 16 anchor here on crude. You can see pretty messy right now. We found this area this morning, and we knew right away we wanted to be selling short on this today. And members, give me a comment below this video. Did we nail this thing today or what? I was calling for 93.50. That was what I said, right? In fact, my final target was 93, 56? I think it was this morning. So we nailed this direction, and we got into there was only a few patterns here in the morning. We got into the earliest pattern we could find, which is just after 10 a.m. this morning. Very slow at the beginning of the session, but boy, did it heat up, though, towards the end of the morning, into lunch, and into the afternoon. This is a tough one here because we've pretty much missed the easy money. What's my trend? Trend is down. Where's my setup? See, that's the problem right now. We are nowhere near a sell setup right now. So I'm not going to be selling right now. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Believe it or not, professional traders are not trading every second of every day. I know. It seems crazy to think we're actually flat sometimes. I'm joking around with you right now because that's the classic scenario for a new trader. We watch way too many movies, right? Movies are not the way that professionals trade. There is a negative correlation, guys, and you know this if you've been trading for a while. There's a negative correlation between the number of trades that I take, right, and the amount of money in my account. If I overtrade, I usually make one person rich, my broker. All right, not myself. So my trend is down. Where's my sell setups right now? 94.35, check. 94.42, 94.66, 94.93. I've got 3 easy areas here right now to be looking for, as well as the top of this channel. So don't forget, the high of that channel will also be an area for us to sell. Now, one very big concern that we see here. Why didn't we get a lower low? What's going on here? This leads me to believe, since we didn't make that lower low today, like our good friend the Russell made its higher high, we didn't make the lower low today. Without making that lower low today, we now know, just like for gold, we may end up seeing here a little bit of a range-bound scenario. If that's the case tomorrow morning, we're going to spot that a mile away. We'll find it in real time. And we're still going to follow the same basic principles. What's my trend? Trend is down. Where's my setup? Top of the channel. In this case, it'd be top of the wedge, right? So just be aware, we're still going to follow the same stuff. But if we see a wedge develop here, i.e. we don't make lower lows overnight, now we're going to draw a trend line and we'll sell the highs with our target at that trend line. Then, as we get closer and closer to this finishing point here, we'll then expect it to break, right? Very similar to what we saw right here, right, where it broke out. So again, little bit of concern right now about this old Jackson Hole Symposium later on this week. Summertime Monday, 4th week of the summer month of August. There could be a few more big clues, but those are enough for me right now to just be a little bit careful right now. Again, come see me tomorrow morning. I'll give you guys these instructions in real time, and we'll see what happened overnight. Right now, though, bearish on crude and looking for the shorts. Moving forward here, last but not least, before we wrap up here today, I've got my news for Tuesday, August 19th. I can't believe we're already saying the 19th of August. I've got major news here happening overnight from our good friends in Australia. Then, look at that, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Red Star news events tomorrow, all in tomorrow's session. If you want fireworks, bring it on, boys and girls. We got tons of fireworks coming tomorrow. Starting tonight here. Where are you going here? Come on, I want this thing to get closer to me here. There we go. Nope, maybe not. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's take a look at tonight's news here. 9:30 p.m., we got meeting minutes out of Australia. Keep in mind, that's going to get things moving and shaking in the Asian session. Then move to the European session. We've got CPI from Great Britain at 4:30 a.m. Not sure why they split those up into 2 events. They're the same event. We then jump down to the U.S., 8:30 a.m. Consumer prices, 8:30 a.m. Housing starts tomorrow morning. All Red Star news. And then tomorrow evening, 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time, we've got our merchandise trade coming to Japan. Again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's your Jackson Hole Symposium. We know that those are going to be the days when things would likely be reacting to commentary out of those political speakers. Tomorrow morning, all Red Star news, and then we'll talk more about that Japanese merchandise trade in tomorrow night's newsletter. We have a ton of opportunity coming tomorrow with this Red Star news. The only variable right now for us buyers and sellers is going to be the volume here on this 4th and final full week. Actually, no, we got one more full week next week. So 4th, second to last week of the month of August, which I would assume a lot of folks are on vacation for as we go through the month of August. Before we wrap up, I want to encourage you guys to share this information with a friend. Tell your friends about this, please. Don't forget, head over here to SchoolOfTrade.com. Join our free trial. As part of that trial, I get a special invitation for you guys to come out and join us in our live trade room here Monday through Friday. I've got 3 levels of membership. I've got someone standing by here 24/7 to tell you why we are the longest running trading education website on the web. Don't take my word for it. Join the trial, join as a brand new student, and you'll see why we have been teaching traders longer than any other website on the internet. Don't take my word for it, guys and gals. Go out there, do your homework. Join me tomorrow morning as a guest in the trade room or as a full-fledged member, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m. Live trade room opens back up. Lots of Red Star news. Don't forget to come out and see us tomorrow morning so we can profit together. My name is Joseph James. Make sure you download today's charts. Come out and see us tomorrow, and we'll see you guys in the trade room tomorrow morning. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.